Hi, I'm Doug, and welcome to my channel, Adventures in Glass with Doug. This is where I show you how to take some thrifted glass and create some really interesting sculptures. These may be sculptures that you'll put out in the garden. You might put them on your deck or your patio, maybe a tabletop if they're a smaller one inside. We've made bird baths, we've made fountains, we've done flowers, we've done hanging items. So there's really a lot that you can do with thrifted glass. You just have to have an imagination. Now, if you're new to the channel, and welcome, be sure to subscribe. Take a look at some of the other videos I've done. You'll get a lot of ideas and a lot of the basics of construction. If you're a returning subscriber, thanks a lot. I know many of you enjoy just watching these get built, but I think you should try yourself. Go out, buy some thrifted glass, see what you can put together. It really isn't that hard, and it's not a big investment. Okay, so what are we doing today? Well, a couple of items that I've had kicking around and a few of them that I just found are going to go together today to make something kind of special. So let me show you what I've got. I think that the most interesting part of this came together just this week when I found a set of these candlesticks. Now, these were interesting. There was a label on these that said they were 24% lead crystal made in Slovenia, which from what I've seen is a good source of lead crystal. And you could tell when you're in the shop that something is lead crystal because it just has a certain brilliance that nothing else has. So I picked up 3 of those, and they've kind of been an interesting inspiration for me leading up to today. This is a piece that I've had. It sure seems like it's depression glass. It's that rose pink color that I know a lot of you are like, oh no, don't use depression glass. But if it's thrifted and it's not really part of a set, it's kind of fair game. And usually when you find these in the thrift shop, there's a chip or a scratch somewhere that makes it less desirable to have at home. And then I found this large glass bowl that has just a little bit of a red and bluish tint around the rim that I thought would work out for us. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to start with our base piece, and these bases have to be a fairly stable, sturdy base that's not going to be tippy when you create your sculpture on top of it. So we've got this one, which very nicely matches this candlestick. And when I put the 2 of these together, I thought, pow, that is just perfect. I mean, the lines were just right. The rectangular base fit the rectangular base of this, or actually it's a square. And I thought, man, that's just perfect. And so then we're going to top it with this bowl, and we'll have ourselves a short but very attractive bird bath. Okay, we've got a very smooth, flat surface there. This is sort of a waffled pattern, but I think it'll work just fine. So we're going to take our adhesive. Let me just check again. Okay, we're going to take our adhesive, put that on the base of this, plop it on there, and we'll be good. Now, what you might ask yourself, well, what do you use to glue these together with, Doug? Well, I use 100% silicone. I use the GE version. The labels change colors. I think some of that has to do with how quickly it sets up and dries. But you'll want to look for the clear 100% silicone. That's what I use. For me, it works. It's very flexible. You can take it off, separate pieces if something goes wrong. You could use epoxy, people do, but I don't find that to be as friendly. Okay, I'm just putting a bead of silicone on there. Usually that's around the top rim of a glass or something, but here we have a flat surface. because it's a textured surface, I'm going to go ahead and make sure I've got enough to fill in the gaps. Naturally, the spot where I just put the silicone here randomly is exactly where there's a gutter. And it disappeared. Okay. That's better. Something I find helpful is a turntable. It helps you see it from all angles, and you can line up whether you're in the center or not. Okay, I think we've got that in place properly. Now, before we put the bowl on, I thought I would jazz it up a little bit with some of these glass beads that I have. These are easy to find in craft stores and even in Walmart and that sort of thing, sometimes a dollar store. So these happen to be in the same color range as both this rose-colored depression glass and the little bit of a color we have in the rim, and there's sort of like a bluish green in the rim too. So I thought I would combine these, have them bounce all over the place. Okay, earlier it looked like this was just the right amount to put in the base. So the only tricky part about this is making sure I get it centered up. So we are going to quickly put a bead around the rim. I think we've got that centered up fine, and looks like we have a good seal on our silicone. And there we have it. That went pretty quick. It was only 3 pieces, but it shows you that you don't have to get overly complicated with some of these pieces. Sometimes when you find the right pieces, it just works. Okay. I think that just has a certain elegance to it. We will let that dry, and I think I've got another quick project for you. It's a bit of a renovation of a piece that I had that ran into some trouble. So I'm going to set this aside and get my other pieces ready to go, and I'll show you how that one turns out. Okay, I mentioned that I had a piece that needed some repairs and renovations, if you will. This is one that had been outside for 2 years or more, and it was part of my totem smash. I don't know if you watched that video when I had a tree come down and break through a lot of my outdoor sculptures. So this is one of them. It lost its top. This actually is part, it looks like it would have been with this one. It wasn't. It was part of another sculpture where the base got smashed. So we're going to see if we can revive the 2 of these through a bit of a renovation here. Okay, what I've done is I've cleaned up these pieces and removed what was the silicone connection between them. Yeah, all right. So they are cleaned up as you can. You have to be aware that when you have mosaic glass, it really isn't designed to be outside. It's not really weatherproof. What will happen is the grout that is in between the pieces of glass and the glue itself will sometimes start to break away. This has a couple of spots where that's what happened, was the glue separated. The grout will sometimes get chalky looking, and it'll get some mildew or some kind of green algae in it. You can clean them, but sometimes that's really kind of tough. So you have to be aware that when you use some of these mosaic glass pieces outside in the weather, you're going to see some degradation. But again, if you don't pay a whole lot for them and you enjoy them while you can, maybe that's okay. We're going to kind of spiff this one up a little bit too. Okay, I've got a red plate that I thought would work nicely between the two pieces. So we are going to glue that together with our silicone. I've got a link again under the description as to how you can get your silicone. You can find it at most hardware stores, but you can also buy a multi-pack online. Our plate. This piece we're going to add to the top. That's going to fit just perfectly in the center of the saucer of that plate. That piece was already constructed as part of another one, but to give you an idea, this was a candle votive. It's upside down, the mosaic glass. I think this was a perfume bottle here, and I don't think that's the stopper that came with it, but I did find another stopper to go in it. So those are the essential pieces of that. I'd say that's done, but I think we can do a little bit of, as I said, a little bit of extra reno work here on the faded sides, and also cover up any blemishes that we might have there. As I said, we are missing a couple of these mosaic tiles, so the solution might be, as long as they stay there, to add a few of those for interest. Slippery little buggers.